Hypersonic missiles just made every defense system obsolete. Here's why nations are panicking. In the early morning silence, alarms don't blare. Radars don't chatter. Nothing appears on screens. Until suddenly, there it is, a blip on the horizon that becomes a nightmare. From launch to impact, 6 minutes. Detection window, 90 seconds. Interception probability, near zero. Imagine a weapon so fast that it arrives before defenses can even lock on. So unpredictable in flight that it bends the rules of interception. So cutting edge that almost no current technology can stop it. This is not science fiction. This is the age of hypersonic missiles. Weapons traveling at more than 5 times the speed of sound, with advanced maneuverability that renders existing defense systems nearly obsolete. World powers are in a frenzy, investing billions, racing to catch up, and calculating terrifying questions. Can we stop this? Can we prepare for it? Will deterrence still work? And the answer so far is not fully. The breakthrough that shocked every strategist. For decades, missile defense was built on a predictable premise. Traditional ballistic missiles fly in a high-arching path that radar networks and interceptor systems can track and destroy before they reach their target. Early warning systems, high-altitude satellites, and interceptor missiles form layered shields designed precisely for this scenario. Then, hypersonic weapons arrived, and the rules changed. Hypersonic missiles fly at extreme speeds Mach 5, Panicking glide vehicle, to Mach 27. It's glide systems like Russia's Avangard, fast enough to reach distant targets in minutes. And they don't follow predictable curves. They glide through the atmosphere at low altitudes, weaving and maneuvering on the way to their target. Here's what shocked Pentagon planners. In 2021, China tested a hypersonic glide vehicle that circled the Earth before striking its target. U.S. intelligence didn't detect the launch until the weapon was already in flight. General John Hyten, then vice chairman of the Joint Chiefs, called it very close to a Sputnik moment. Why current defense systems fall short? The core reason hypersonic missiles make existing defense systems obsolete is not just speed. It's the combination of characteristics that defy the logic on which current defenses were built. Speed and reaction time. Hypersonic weapons can reach targets within minutes, compressing the timeline for detection, decision, and interception into a dangerous squeeze. When missile defense systems rely on minutes, sometimes tens of minutes, to identify, track, and engage an incoming threat, hypersonics change that to mere seconds. Traditional ballistic missile defense relies on 15-20-minute warning windows. Hypersonics compress that to 90 seconds or less from detection to impact. Imagine a missile launched without warning. Not hours beforehand, not even minutes, and hitting a target almost immediately. That's the compression of time that alarms defense planners worldwide. Unpredictability in flight. Traditional missiles follow mathematically predictable arcs dictated by gravity and speed. This predictability is what makes early warning systems effective. Hypersonics, in contrast, can maneuver mid-flight, making their paths almost erratic. Radar systems and interceptor computers struggle to build a reliable trajectory, which they must do before firing an interceptor. Low-altitude trajectories. Instead of arcing high over the atmosphere, hypersonic cruise missiles and glide vehicles maintain flight at altitudes that sit below traditional space-based early warning satellites, and often below long-range ground radars. U.S. space-based infrared system satellites, designed to detect ballistic missile launches via heat signatures, struggle to track hypersonics continuously because they fly below orbital observation angles for extended periods. Their approach is stealthy in the sense that sensors only pick them up late in the approach. By the time the warning comes, it's already too late for many interceptors. Maneuverability beyond prediction. Add to this unpredictability the ability to make sharp course adjustments, a capability existing defenses are not designed to handle, and the defensive picture becomes bleak. China's DF-17 hypersonic glide vehicle can adjust course up to 30 degrees laterally during flight. That's the difference between hitting a target and evading an interceptor missile that's already been launched. Track and intercept systems depend on leading a target, predicting where it will be. But hypersonic missiles undermine this assumption. This is why nation after nation is scurrying to develop new detection and interception technologies rather than relying on Cold War-era systems that were not engineered for such threats. Warzone Masters tracks defense gaps, because the weapons rendering trillion-dollar defense systems obsolete aren't theoretical. They're operational. And the vulnerability is now. The global arms race is no longer future. It's now. The world's major powers have jumped into a hypersonic arms race, not just for prestige, but because their national defense hinges on it. Russia and China are arguably ahead in deployment. Russia claims to have fielded hypersonic systems like the Avangard Mach 27, nuclear-capable, operational since 2019, and the Kinzhal Mach 10, air-launched, used operationally in Ukraine since 2022, weapons touted as capable of overwhelming current defenses. China has developed missiles like the DF-17 and new anti-ship hypersonic models such as the YJ-21 carrier killer, deployed on destroyers, demonstrating a commitment to operational hypersonic systems that can threaten both land and naval targets. The United States is aggressively investing in hypersonic programs and new launch platforms. The Pentagon's 2024 budget allocated $4.7 billion to hypersonic programs, triple the 2020 allocation. Various hypersonic strike weapons are in development, including AGM-183 ARRW air-launched rapid response weapon, long-range hypersonic weapon, and the Navy's conventional prompt strike system. But here's the gap. While China and Russia have operational systems, most U.S. hypersonic programs won't reach initial operational capability until 2025-2027. That's a 5-7-year window, where adversaries hold the advantage. It's a global sprint, and nations feel the pressure not to be left behind in what many analysts consider the next fundamentally game-changing category of warfare. Why hypersonics flip defense doctrines on their head. Before hypersonic missiles, defense planners operated with a relatively stable calculus. Detect early. Track trajectory. Launch interceptors. Destroy threat. Cost comparison reveals another panic point. A hypersonic missile costs roughly $10–20 million. The defense systems required to potentially stop it. Layered radar networks, space sensors, advanced interceptors cost $2–5 billion per installation. Offense now costs less than defense. This transforms defense into a near panic-driven scramble, where nations must either accelerate offensive deterrence or hope to build entirely new layers of defense that can cope with hypersonic flight. The impact on nuclear deterrence and global stability. Hypersonic missiles aren't just about conventional warfare. They carry strategic significance in nuclear deterrence. Because they can potentially deliver both nuclear and conventional warheads with very little notice, they degrade the reliability of early warning systems and complicate retaliation calculations. Here's the nightmare scenario that keeps nuclear strategists awake. A. Hypersonic weapon launches. Detection systems spot it 90 seconds before impact. Is it conventional or nuclear? Targeting military or civilian infrastructure? Launched by whom? Decision makers have less time than it takes to microwave popcorn to decide. Launch nuclear retaliation or absorb the strike and risk being wrong? This means that in crisis scenarios, where nations are weighing retaliation, escalation, or defense, hypersonic missiles introduce a new dimension of uncertainty. Decision makers may have seconds instead of minutes or hours to respond to a launch, increasing the risk of miscalculation or accidental escalation. Defense systems scramble, but none are ready. Some countries are racing to develop countermeasures, but leaders admit the progress is partial and ongoing. The United States and Japan are working together on technologies like the Glide Phase Interceptor, an advanced hit-to-kill system intended to challenge hypersonic glide vehicles mid-flight. Specialized radars, like upgraded AN/TPY-2 sensors, are being fielded to improve detection and tracking of fast, low-altitude threats. But they are still early efforts against a moving target. Russia claims its S-500 Triumph air defense system can engage hypersonic targets traveling up to Mach 5. Independent verification? None. Combat testing? None. The blunt truth is that no nation today possesses a fully reliable, layered defense capable of stopping hypersonic missiles across the full range of scenarios. And that reality fuels global anxiety. What nations are really panicking about? The panic isn't just about technology. It's about strategic vulnerability. Countries once confident in their protection see that. Early warning may not give enough time to react. Current interceptors may be outpaced or outmaneuvered. Decision systems may freeze under compressed timelines. Traditional defense doctrines no longer guarantee security. A new war, accelerated and uncertain. As hypersonic technology matures, the nature of global military balance could shift dramatically. Some analysts stress that current capabilities remain limited and that effective defenses are eventually possible. But the perception of threat, fast-moving, unpredictable, and exceedingly difficult to stop, is already real. That perception, in turn, shapes national policies, military budgets, and strategic doctrines worldwide. Every major military planner now asks the same question. If an enemy can strike with virtually no warning and evade defense, how do we deter, defend, and survive? This question doesn't have an easy answer, and until it does, the world may be living under a new era of fear, where defense systems seem obsolete, and speed becomes the ultimate weapon. If this analysis changed how you see modern warfare and fear of hypersonic threats, smash that like button, subscribe for more deep breakdowns, and hit the notification bell. Drop a comment below. Do you think future defense systems will truly stop hypersonic missiles, or will speed always win? Stay informed, stay prepared, and I'll see you in the next deep dive into the weapons changing the world.